Hey, good day to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Whatever time of the day you find yourself actually tuning in, listening to this particular message, or watching this particular video, good day to you. My name is Jerrie'Me Wright, and today is September the 30th, 2020. And on last month, I asked a question on August the 30th. um, I asked the question, what was so special about the month of September? And while I gave a few answers, um, such as, September being the birthday month of my grandmother, and also being the birthday month of some other family and friends, as well as Labor Day and basically the memorial of those who lost their lives on September the 11th, 2001, I failed to mention one of the most important things. In fact, that is, September is actually Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And for myself, I usually take to social media and post different pictures and videos concerning Sickle Cell Awareness Month. However, being that I'm not on social media right now, aside from YouTube, I did need to create a video before today's end, before this month end, and actually, you know, uh, let you all know that September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And I've actually been quite silent and haven't said much. And only because the simple fact that, God had for me to do something that I've done my whole life, and that is write, to continue to write. Um, and, as I continue to write and as I continue to delve into this whole topic of sickle cell anemia, that is actually my life story, and that is actually my life testimony. For myself, I have three biological siblings. It's four of us in total. I have two sisters and one brother. It's been two boys and two girls. And with that being said, my oldest sister, Monica, actually passed away 9 years ago. This December will actually make 9 years from the passing of my oldest sister, Monica, who had sickle cell anemia. And Monica and I both have what is known as sickle cell anemia, and whereby the red blood cells in our bodies are actually sickle in shape. And what that means and what that looks like is, if you can picture the letter C, our red blood cells are actually deformed, whereby it actually, excuse me, looks like a C, a capital C, if you will, whereby someone without sickle cell anemia, their red blood cell will look like a capital O. And whenever those sickle cells actually do not flow in blood vessels smoothly because of the sickle shape, they get clogged and they get stopped up in different areas of your body, which will cause what we know and what we call sickle cell crises. Um, my older sister and I both, as I stated, had the disease, and we actually faced that from birth. For sickle cell anemia is actually an inherited blood disorder. It is an inherited blood disorder. Therefore, those who have sickle cell anemia are actually born with this particular disease. And this disease that they're born with, they're actually born with it because their parents either had a disease or either were carriers of the disease. For an example, it's two boys and two girls. Therefore, Monica and I, the oldest and the youngest, we both have sickle cell anemia. My brother and my sister are actually carriers of the disease, like my mother and father. Therefore, being that they're carriers, the disease do not affect them as it would someone who actually have sickle cell anemia. And what they have and what it is known as is sickle cell trait. And whenever you have a trait, you are just a carrier of a particular disease, and you aren't affected by the disease as someone who may be affected like myself. In fact, on today, I actually had a call from one of the caseworkers from my insurance company, and in talking with her, in talking with her today, I kind of like, got a good chuckle. But not only did I get a good chuckle, I was like, wow, like it's crazy out here. But she went through her list of questions, and one of the things she asked me, was about, getting my medication, and was I able to get my medications that someone with sickle cell anemia should take on a daily basis, and be consistent in taking. And I did tell her, I was able to, for the most part. Nevertheless, one of the medications I recently started on was a medication my older sister Monica actually was on when she was living, and that medication is called XJade, XJADE, and that particular medication comes from a specialty pharmacy. And because it comes from a specialty pharmacy, they have to make it there in a particular pharmacy and ship it out to the address that you have on file. So it's not a medication that you're able to just, go to a pharmacy and just pick up like any of your other medications. And what was funny about this exchange that we had was the simple fact that, I was sharing with her, as someone who, is looking more into the future of our nation, not just for myself, but for my children as well as their children. One of the things that, I addressed today was the simple fact that, after I had a stroke in 2017, I believe that next year I was able to substitute for a few months. And during those few months of substituting at various schools, at various grade levels, one of the things that I came to know is that, I was unable to work, being that I was someone who received disability. And when you receive disability, I'm assuming that you cannot work, or if you do work, you're required to pay back a certain amount of money that you made. And earlier this year, I was told that very thing when I received a call from the Social Security Administration, letting me know that, hey, I worked in these particular years, and I had to pay back a certain amount of money. because I work, and I'm thinking to myself that gotta be like the one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And one of the things that I now, being at the Sickle Cell Awareness Month, that I now even look forward in helping to change a law for the better in the state of South Carolina, only because, if you have someone with sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia, you want to encourage them to be able to, make a living and actually go out and work and do what it is that they have to do to get back on their feet or where there was once before. However, when you have someone actually saying, "Hey, you worked such and such amount of time, and now you have to pay back this money," and you like on the phone like, "Are you serious?" Like I have a medication that, like I was just telling you, that comes from the specialty pharmacy that is entitled EXJADE. And this particular medication is designed to pull iron out of your body because of blood transfusions that sickle cell patients receive. They have the tendency to develop iron overload. And this was something that my sister actually struggled with. And in fact, when she was living, this was a medication that she was on, and this was a medication that she had to take because she had iron overload. Because over the years, as you receive more and more blood, you begin to develop iron overload. Therefore, this particular medication have to be given that it can actually pull the iron out of your body, that your organs don't begin to shut down. And just to go back to that whole working thing, this guy is saying, hey, you gotta, pay this amount of money back, and I'm like, okay, are you serious? Like I have a medication that costs $10,000 a month, and you're actually telling me about a medication. Um, you're telling me I have to pay back an amount of money that is less than 10% of what that medication costs. So for myself, just thinking about this and talking about it kind of upsets me a little bit, because I know there are people out there who are actually less fortunate than I am and are not in a place that I am in, and don't even have the support of family as I do. Therefore, it kind of it baffles me when you actually get a call like that, because now you're thinking about not just yourself, you're thinking about other sickle cell patients who are actually not only battling with their health, but now they're actually facing should I work or should I not work. Now if I work, this is the consequence. I'm gonna have to actually pay back this amount of money, or should I not work and, you know, just say, the heck with it, just let things be. But at the same time, for myself, I have been the individual in the situation who don't desire to get as much blood transfusions, and someone who not only don't desire to get much blood transfusions, but someone who actually does not desire to uh, be on this particular medication that costs $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month. Therefore, you can actually do the math. So, do I put the strain on the system by getting this medication, um, whereby, the number of months I skipped this year's without taking that particular medication, I could have been forgiven the small amount of money that they said I owed. Therefore, being that this is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, I'm actually kind of opening up with personal details and personal information such as this because in bringing awareness, there are people who may not even know, like, what you may actually be facing, yet and still, that is actually what September is all about. The month of September is all about bringing awareness to an inherited blood disorder um, that many people face throughout the United States and even in other countries around the world. Therefore, just to keep it short, you take care, and I just pray that you will actually educate someone else about this disease that we see more prevalent within the African American community. And big ups to President Donald Trump because he have signed into uh, law that more research be done concerning this particular disease, and that not only that research be done, but even allotting aid, thereby those with sickle cell anemia can actually, find a medication that actually works for them, such as people who have other ailments or diseases, such as cancer. There's so much research that is dumped into cancer, and rightfully so, because cancer do not discriminate. Cancer do not discriminate. It doesn't matter what your race is. Doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Doesn't matter where you stay or your economic status. Cancer affects everyone. Therefore, as we even approach the month of October, in particular, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Therefore, just food for thought that you would even take in consideration these different awareness months that are before us, and that you yourself or someone in your family actually may suffer with, that we may not even know. Therefore, it's good to be open about what it is that you're facing. It's good to be open about what it is that you're going through, because actually, when she called today to ask him about those things, that was one of the things I shared with her. Like, here, you know, I had to pay back a certain amount of money to the government, and if I actually stick with taking one particular medication, I will actually impose a greater burden on the system in a whole. And if we do the math real quick, like, that is $120,000 a year for one particular medication. Therefore, I'm sure they don't see it that way, but as a patient, and from my vantage point and how I am viewing it, and I'm actually the one who is taking the risk of saying let's hold off on all these blood transfusions, and let's hold off on the medication that actually costs 10 grand or more each month. Let's hold off on these things. But it takes a collective effort. Therefore, hopefully, as I continue to not only write, but as I continue to do my research, Lord's willing, there can be effective change, not only within the state of South Carolina, but even throughout the United States of America. You take care and be blessed.